Very good evening, everyone. Today, doing a showcase on the Norse Gaels for the game of Saga, Dark Age battle gaming from Gripping Beast. This is the box set, which you can get. It's a starter box set. Great value, £31 or 33 quid, something around that, plus a little bit for postage and packaging. From the Gripping Beast website, these are the Norse Gaelic warband. You get your leader, 2 Hearth Guard, and 2 sets of warriors. Each Hearth Guard is 4 troops, 4 and 4, and then obviously the warriors get 2 lots of 8. With Saga, of course, you can do all sorts. You can have just warriors, just Hearth Guard. You can have loads of levy, which is the poorest and the weakest type of infantry in the game. But I went for the warband. Play it safe. Yeah, it's all been pre-point costed up, and for the value, you can't really knock it. I went for the Norse Gaelics because, me being me, as you've probably seen in previous videos and stuff, I do like to delve a bit deeper than the standard stuff that everyone knows of. Nothing more than simply because I like to find out new things. And the Norse Gaelic the Norse Gaelic culture is fascinating. Do look it up. It's really interesting. It was a kingdom that was sort of created through the Norse as they invaded the islands around upper higher Scotland, like the Outer Hebrides, all the islands going down to the Isle of Man, and also the Orkney Islands. They ended up with a crossbreed between the natural Gaelic communities and cultures that were there beforehand, and the Norsemen sort of ended up breeding, and they basically created a new culture as such, I suppose. It lasted for many hundreds of years. The Orkney Islands had their own culture compared to what's commonly described as the Kingdom of the Isles. And the Kingdom of the Isles is the Isle of Man, not saying all the way up to the other islands, or the Outer Hebrides, all the islands in between. The main castle, which was where the kings of the Norse Gaelic peoples was based, is on the very tip of Scotland. Just as it's on the very first few islands of Scotland as you're following the map up. I'm trying to think of the name of it now. There's hardly anything left, but I do recommend looking at the culture of them. It's really interesting little culture, and it's fascinating to think it's still, what they were and how they existed. They were probably dominated by the bigger kingdoms in and out of their career, but there's a solid line of kings, solid culture. There's a few famous sort of folklore characters. One was known as Brodir of Man. And he was known for apparently steel that cannot bite. The rumour was basically he was, immune to any sort of damage whatsoever, until he fought in Dublin. The Norse Gaelic community did actually rule Dublin. It was like a little principality, I suppose, that they ruled. And there was a battle there against the Irish king, and an Irish warrior managed to kill Brodir. So obviously the steel could bite him on that turn, which, funny enough, is a model that I will be buying off Gripping Beast, as they have actually made Brodir of Man. He's a great little model. He's holding a sword up in his hand, real shout. Not they always are, the typical cheesy sort of warrior poses, but it does look good. But anyway, that's why I wanted to get into the Norse Gaelics. Just interesting culture. I can kind of make up my own little storyline just for a bit of fun, like for fluff and stuff with this warband. I'm going to come up with an idea that they've come from a little island off of Scotland. Just have like a little bit of fun with them, really, for a bit of storytelling, storyline things. Yeah, not really set shield colour theme. Each shield's got their own patterns and things. Some patterns I'm happy with, some I'm not. Some I've left plain. I'll probably keep going over them, to be honest, until I'm really happy. But for the time being, the overall feel of this army is really cool. Really chuffed with them. And of course, the leader has got ginger hair, because I'm ginger. Ginger's awesome. It's got to be done. Simple as that. So anyway, here we go. So I might just start with the main man. So here is, let's try and get him in focus. There we go. Ah, look at that. Well chuffed. That came out quite nicely. So here is my lord. I want to wait. I want to really look on Google Images and find a really cool shield pattern. I want to paint that freehand. You can get some great stickers out there and transfers that Gripping Beast and other companies make. But I want to do it myself. I want to do it the hard way. I want to test my painting skills, really work on it and stuff, and come up with my own little pattern. I'll think of something. Come up with something on the internet, some way, shape or form. But yeah, this is the warband leader. There's a different leader you can get for the Norse Gaelics, where similar thing, but instead the warriors stood holding the shield with a massive Dane axe being like held up in the air. Really cool little pose. But I do actually quite prefer this. It's more subtle. You know, he's holding the shield, and he can't quite make it out. But what he's actually doing is you can just see where the sword scabbard here, look, lifting up the cloth. Just see the point of a scabbard sticking out of his cloth there. And what he's doing is he's got his shield up, and you can see he's secretly drawing his sword just from underneath, which is quite a cool little, you know, very subtle pose. But anyway, painted him nice shade of blue, all Warhammer paints as usual, but nice shade of blue. Must have about 7 different shades of blue. Done his shield, obviously his hair. Got a couple of different shades of grey and blacks for his tunics and things. And I've done a little edging of gold on his chainmail, because obviously he's the Lord. He's got to look the biz. There we go, he's got blue eyes, got a nice shade in his face, orange haired, obviously ginger, brilliant. So there you go, that is the Lord character. Really chuffed with him, brilliant little character, like him. Moving over, we have some Hearth Guard armed with Dane axes. Again, got a couple of gingers going on here, why not? Really pleased with their faces. Their faces have come out well. Painting these models was an absolute dream. It really was. They're brilliant sculpts. They're metal, so of course they're nice and detailed. Really pleased with them. I've spent ages in each one highlighting all the little leather tunics and chainmail and thing, giving these guys a little bit of extra detail, just because of who they are. These are the Hearth Guard. These are the ones that report straight to the Lord. They own land. They own men. You know, these guys are the ones that sort of raise an army on behalf of their lord back in the Dark Ages times. The only flaw with these some of these models, which will become apparent as we go through them, is unfortunately a blonde character here. Same again, brains, chainmail, simple, dry brush. I'll do the chainmail first, get that out of the way. Grey trousers, brilliant. But this guy, you'll see his axe is a little bit wonky. See that? Now that's because I've literally cut the axe up into pieces and then glue it into the hands as best I can, because ideally, whereas with these guys here, the axe sits in holes in their hands, this guy didn't have any. Whether that's a flaw in the casting process, I don't know, but unfortunately it was a pain, so I cut the axe up for him. But I'm still pleased with it. Brilliant pose, he's really, really cool. Got, his hair's been like dreadlocked almost, he's got a little sort of crown of some description, not a crown, but like a headband thing, so I've painted that gold, because obviously he's uber. But I did have to drill some holes into the hands in some of these models, which was a great shame, because it has sort of spoilt them. I've managed to paint over it, so those with a good eye might be able to tell. But it's just a shame that the casts couldn't have been made with better holes in the hands, just the weapons could fit a bit snugger. These are the other Hearth Guard, 4 armed with spear. Yes, this dude does indeed have an axe. That's because Grip and Beast didn't give me enough weapons. For what I meant to have 8 warriors with spear and 4 Hearth Guard with spear. However, I've actually got about a sort of an odd number of weapons. So most have spear, a couple have got hand weapons. So what I've basically done is, in gaming terms, they're just classed as having spears. Simple as that. There's nothing sort of wrong or right about that. I'm sure other players won't mind me saying that. It's an official thing. I'll just say simply, they're all armed with spears. Simple as that. But yes, that's the other Hearth Guard. I've gone for a cool little sort of bird type symbol in this chap here. Sort of good, brilliant little models. Really great. Apart from a couple of little sort of moulding flaws, I assume. The actual sculpts themselves are brilliant. Each one's unique. All got different like bags, different things, and they're really, really cool, really, really detailed, really good. Really pleased with them. You've got 2 chaps here, and of course going over, we have the 8 warriors with spear. Yep, there are spears. May have a couple of swords there, but let's just pretend we can't tell that, and that they actually are all spearmen. Haha. This shield, I'm not so keen on this shield, but I just want to give it a go. It's a bit sort of off kilter, but I'll give it a try. But I'm pleased with the skin tones, how the skin tones came out in these guys. Same with this dude here. He's got a sort of buff looking dude, so I spent a bit of time trying to highlight all his muscle and stuff, real tough geezer. But I gave the Greybeards to make look he's an old boy that's fought many wars and he's just hardcore. Simple shield design, really cool, come out nicely. Same with all the rest of them. Only model I'm not keen on, just out of it as I was painting them going along, is this guy. He just seems a bit sort of, don't know, a bit odd. But I've gone for slight kilt like type sort of look on his cloth, not kilt. What's the word? Not Burberry. can't think of it now. The pattern what the Scottish are known for. What's it called? Anyway, the Burberry type thing. Yeah, that. Comment down below if you want to correct me, because I can't remember it, but I've gone for a little blue highlight there, just to give a bit of a Gaelic culture sort of look to them. They'll paint, and then finally, these are the last 8 to be painted, and these are 8 warriors with Dane axes. And of course, in the game, Dane axes do some serious damage. So again, I've gone for like the little kilty, the tartan. There we go, tartan. I've gone for a little tartan sort of look there, same as with this guy here. It's a bit of a tartan, just to sort of mix it up a bit. And again, some different hair colours, different styles, browns, greys. Out of the warriors of this unit, I would say it's these 3, actually, that are my favourite. Try and get them there. These 3 dudes here. Really cool, really like them, the 2 boys. These guys almost look like brothers to some extent. These guys here, really, really cool. Really chuffed with them. Got some gold details on this guy's hair here, some gold and silver, like braids or something. Really cool, he's swinging his axe. He's lurching forward. And with these guys it's literally had to use my Black & Decker to drill holes into their hands and stuff, which was with mixed results, but I just haven't got anything smaller to do it with. But it worked out well. You can see they're all holding their axes as best they can. Really, really good, really cool, really chuffed. Yeah, really nice. Took a long time, quite a few hours went into them. Spent a lot of early mornings this week getting them painted up and stuff, but now I have a warband, so I'm hoping to start using these in the game soon. I know the local Wargamers club has played Saga in the past. I know Saga do in fact sell tickets for a national tournament up north somewhere, so definitely be giving that a go. Definitely will be. But hope you like them, guys. Do rate, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. Comment down below. Give me any sort of suggestions, any tips. I want to look into getting another Saga warband to fight with these guys. You know, to fight against these guys. I'm thinking maybe Anglo-Danish or even Scottish would be quite cool, maybe. Scottish invading Norse Gaelic's island, something like that maybe, who knows. But many thanks, guys. Thanks for your time as always. Take care, and see you soon.